We need to talk, he said in a low, controlled voice. He led me away from the group. I could feel everyone at the party looking at us, my cheeks burning with shame. But part of me was still in denial about the situation. Surely Ethan would forgive me, he always did. We stopped at the far end of the yard, hidden from view by Mrs. Parsons' hydrangea bushes. Ethan put the plate of burgers down on a nearby table and turned to face me. His usually warm brown eyes were cold and distant. "I'm done, Olivia," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Done being your punching bag, done being the butt of your jokes, done being disrespected by you and everyone else, because you've made it clear that I'm not worthy of respect." His words hit me like a physical blow. I stumbled back, shaking my head in denial. "It was just a joke," I said. "You know I didn't mean to humiliate you in front of our friends, or make you feel like less than a man, or take advantage of your love for me. I'm sorry, Ethan, please." "Olivia, you never considered how your actions affect others, including me," he said, running a hand through his hair in frustration. "I've put up with it for years, thinking that if I just loved you enough, if I just tried harder, you'd see me, really see me. But you don't." I reached out to touch his arm, but he flinched away, sending a spike of pain through my heart. "Ethan, I do see you. I love you. Please, let's just go home and talk about this." He shook his head, a bitter look on his face. "Olivia, I'm leaving. When you get home, your things will be packed and waiting for you on the porch. I don't want you in the house anymore." The finality in his voice sent a chill down my spine. This wasn't like our usual arguments where I could persuade him to change his mind, or where Ethan would eventually give in to keep the peace. This was different. This was the end. "You can't be serious," I said, my voice rising in panic. "Ethan, this is our home, our life. You can't just throw it all away over one stupid comment." "It's not just one comment, Olivia," he said quietly. "It's years of comments, years of disrespect, years of me giving everything I have to this relationship while you take and take and take." He looked at me, the pain in his eyes making my breath catch. "I love you, Olivia. God help me, I probably always will. But I can't do this anymore. I won't do this." With that, he turned and walked away, leaving me standing alone among the hydrangeas. The sounds of the party were a stark contrast to the turmoil in my heart. I watched him make his way through the crowd, stopping briefly to say goodbye to our host before disappearing down the street towards our house. Our house. That thought jolted me into action. I hurried after him, ignoring the curious stares and whispered comments from our neighbors. By the time I reached our home, a quaint two-story colonial we bought just a year ago, I was out of breath. Ethan was already inside. I burst through the front door, calling his name. The sight that greeted me stopped me in my tracks. Ethan was in the living room, methodically packing my clothes into suitcases. I pleaded with him, moving to grab the shirt he was folding. "Please, Ethan, let's just talk," I begged. But he shot me a look and pulled the shirt away from me, his jaw tight. "Olivia, I've made my decision. But you can't just kick me out," I said, desperation creeping into my voice. "This is my home too." "Actually, it's not," he replied calmly. "The house is in my name, remember? You didn't want to be tied down with a mortgage." That conversation came back to me. I'd pushed for Ethan to buy the house on his own, saying it would be better for our finances. But in reality, I thought it would be an easy way out if things ever got tough. I never imagined it would backfire on me like this. "Ethan, please," I begged, tears streaming down my face. "I'll do better. I'll change. Just give me another chance." For a moment, I thought I saw a flicker of doubt in his eyes, but then he shook his head, his resolve hardening. "Olivia, I've given you chances. Too many chances. It's too late now." He finished packing my clothes and moved on to my personal items. I watched helplessly as he efficiently packed away my life, occasionally asking me where I wanted certain things. The surreal nature of the situation made me feel like I was watching a movie of someone else's life falling apart. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across our once happy home, Ethan carried the last of my suitcases to the front porch. I stood in the doorway, feeling lost and small. "Where am I supposed to go?" I whispered. Ethan ran a hand over his face. For the first time, I noticed how tired he looked. The lines around his eyes seemed deeper than I remembered. "Call your parents or one of your friends." "I don't know, but you can't stay here." "What about us?" I asked, clinging to the last shred of hope. "Is this really it?" He looked at me with a mixture of sadness and determination. "Yeah, Olivia, this is really it. I'll have my lawyer draw up the divorce papers next week." He led me gently but firmly onto the porch and closed the door behind me. I heard the lock click into place with a chilling finality. I sank down onto the porch steps, surrounded by my hastily packed life, and let the tears flow freely, overwhelmed by the weight of my mistakes. The consequences of years of thoughtlessness and disrespect finally hit me.